What is a major driver for all of the different kinds of ops? We hear about DevOps, we hear about DataOps. You may have heard of DevSecOps, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And compared to the old Waterfall, we have something in both cases with Waterfall and with Agile, where we have a Gantt chart. And a Gantt chart tells us our critical path between when we start to build our project and the time we can finish our project. And what are all the extremely important tasks we have to complete between the start of the project and the end. That also brought around this idea of shift left. So I wanted to explain this to you in a couple different ways. So to begin with any kind of project, and in this case, I'm going to use home building. So we're going to build a home, and we start with our plan. You know, we know our requirements. We want 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, a half bath. We need the 2-car garage, right? So we're planning at this phase. Then we are designing the home. So we get an architect or we look at home plans. And so we're building this house. We now have fixed our sights on exactly the home we want to build. It's a 2-story Tudor, and it has these kinds of landscaping elements and so forth. If we make any changes between the planning phase and when we start construction, it costs only the difference in materials to do that. It's a very easy situation. So if we say, hey, you know what? We want to add a window to the plan. If we do this in the planning and design phase, it's just the cost of a window, right? If we come back, though, later on, and we say, okay, we've already framed the house, but we haven't progressed to doing a lot of work on the house, it's still going to cost. But it's actually going to cost more because we've already framed in stuff. And so to change that, it could be 2 to 4 times more than the cost of the window itself. And if we have already pretty much gone to completion on the house and we realize we need to add a window at this point, it's going to cost 8 to 12 times more than what it would have if we figured it out at the very beginning. That's in a home. Building a home, but it's the same way for building with Agile. So if we build with Agile, it is comparatively, and this is well known, and I have the reference down here from ResearchNet, it is comparatively more effective at controlling costs than Waterfall. Notice how once we start coding, changes in our Waterfall get very expensive. Whereas if we're doing a good job with Agile, it doesn't get really that much more expensive until we get down here to the production phase. Now, if we drill down a little bit deeper, and this is another graph from the ResearchNet organization. So in this case, they even have done analysis for things like when we find defects according to paired programming, or we found a defect with our continuous integration, continuous deployment. Well, one of the things that is traditionally always held towards a late phase, either at production or even after a system has been an app has been rolled out into production, is security and the performance tuning of your application. So if you are going to add a whole module for you have to sign in, and here's the multi-factor authentication, a lot of times that will be added at the end. And that's just as we saw with the home building, it's really expensive to do that.